Welcome to the It's in Queens podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and you're listening to the only podcast dedicated entirely to the world's borough, a place overflowing with culture, creativity, and community. This show is coming to you each week thanks to the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council. They're both committed to spotlighting the people and places that make Queens such a remarkable destination. Okay, well, this past weekend we had some very cold weather once again. It seems like this is just endless. Biting winds, low temperatures that really kept most of us indoors. But I hope all of you bundled up warmly if you had to go outside. Maybe you watched some movies inside like I did, or even better, you just relaxed on the couch with a book or two while staying nice and cozy. Growing up, books were really a big part of my life. I was always learning, and I craved knowledge, which is why I became an education reporter for years. I wanted to explore what makes teachers excel and what makes students succeed, diving deep into the heart of great schooling. So that's why I love to occasionally bring you interviews on this podcast with educators. This week, I'm pleased to feature the Mary Louis Academy, a nearly 90-year-old all-girls Catholic college prep school in Jamaica Estates, Queens, founded in 1936 by the Sisters of St. Joseph of Brentwood and serving grades 6 to 12. Known for its rigorous academics, strong college outcomes, and emphasis on leadership, service, and faith formation, the Academy offers small class sizes, personalized guidance, and the largest all-girls high school sports program in the city. Joining me this week is President Livia Angiolillo, affectionately known as Miss A, the school's inaugural president since 2023 and a longtime city educator with experience as managing director at Bold Charter Schools, principal at Brooklyn Ascend Charter High School, and co-founder of Uncommon Collegiate Charter High School, where she achieved 100% graduation rates. She brings boundless enthusiasm, data-driven decisions, and a launch, explore, and discuss model that fosters critical thinking and student success. So let's get to that interview. Livia Angiolillo, welcome to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you.
So for listeners who may not be familiar, give us a snapshot of what the Mary Louis Academy and its role has been traditionally, and the role that it's played in Queens.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Mary Louis Academy is almost 90 years old. We were founded in 1936 by the Sisters of St. Joseph of Brentwood. And we have been located in the same beautiful neo-Gothic building since 1936. So if you take the F train all the way to 179th and you walk up it's a very steep hill from Hillside Avenue, about 100 yards, you see this beautiful building and an original convent that is just smack dab in the middle of Jamaica Estates, Queens. And we have been, since 1936, a college preparatory high school for girls. This past fall in 2025, we actually became a 6 through 12 school, college preparatory for girls. But we are kind of the best kept secret of Queens, best kept secret of New York. In New York City, in the sense that we have almost a century of accomplishments and 20,000 alumni that we boast, and we are just incredibly proud of our history.
Now, you stepped into this newly created role of president about 19 or so months ago, coming from the charter school sector. What drew you to the academy, and what were your first impressions when you arrived?
Yeah, absolutely. So what is important to know about me is I am the product of an all-girls Catholic school. So everything in my kind of very, very formidable and important years pre-college was grounded in Catholic all-girls identity. And so when I got to college, that was incredibly impactful when I realized that I was the only girl in my class that was speaking, and then continuing into grad school and law school. And so it is something that I've taken with me. It is also something that ingrained in me the importance of education. And so when I was just starting my career, I wanted to make a sizable impact on education. And in New York City, in particular, charter schools are incubators of innovation and adaptability, and really thinking about how can you improve um, education for all. And so it seemed like a really natural fit. But in the back of my mind, I always wanted to return to an all girls school, and in particular, an all girls Catholic school. And I often say there aren't many left, and there aren't many excellent ones left. And so the opportunity um, came about that the Mary Louis Academy was um, going to install its first president, and it seemed uh, if it worked out, it would be kind of a stroke of magic, and it's been really incredible to transition from the charter sector to not only an all girls Catholic school, but one that is phenomenally diverse and also has years and years and a record of excellence that match my both my expectations and also my push for students.
And since you arrived, what have been some of the changes that you implemented?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we opened a middle school. So within the first 12 months of being there, we launched a 6 through 8 middle school model to really begin building a bench, if you will, for the high school, but also ensuring that there will be a ready cohort of young girls that are completely ready for the rigor of the Mary Louis Academy's uh, educational program at the high school level. And so that is right. Launching a school is its own kind of initiative and exciting adventure. But that was something that we took on in the first year. We also really overhauled how we think about marketing, but then also admissions and enrollment. And so really thinking about that as kind of a vertical alignment or kind of a linear process. So really thinking about like how do you engage an audience or consumers or parents that are thinking about the school, and then how do you carry them from first introduction all the way to conversion to students that are enrolled and in classes. And so really thinking about that holistically and no longer kind of in silos. And so a lot of what we did in terms of the marketing, admissions and enrollment piece, we were also able then to implement as we were launching the middle school to really think about how are you investing families in a school that doesn't exist for sixth grade versus a high school that has existed for almost 90 years in ninth grade, and really thinking about how do you best approach those constituents.
And also, there's a new, rethinking of who an academy student can be. So, talk a
Yeah.
little about how you brought in recruitment beyond the traditional, 5 mile Catholic radius, and what's the response been?
Yeah. So one of the things that really drew me, as I mentioned, to Mary Louis, was its incredible diversity. So our student body is about 70% students of color, young women of color, which is representative not only of Queens but also New York City, but also speaks to kind of the commitment of the Sisters of Saint Joseph and our Josephite roots. So our charism, our mission is reconciliation, all inclusive love, and unity. And so, this idea, which is we should be serving the dear neighbor, we should be providing the best possible education to young women that we can. And so, really beginning to rethink um, how are we approaching. How are we approaching recruitment and how are we approaching outreach to communities that may not necessarily think that they can afford or maintain a private education, but also maybe worried about kind of the banner of a Catholic high school or a Catholic 6 through 12 school. And so really beginning to ensure that our families understand that yes, we are an all girls Catholic school, but we're also very, very proudly an all girls Josephite school. And so we want if you are smart and excited to work hard and willing to kind of put in your all, and you are committed to the kind of the Mary Lewis ethos, we want you. And we also know that you will be incredibly successful with us, given all the resources that we pour into our students.
And what's also interesting is that, there's always been a perception about who would attend a Catholic school, but what you've really done is enroll students from areas that historically never considered Catholic education. Talk a little about how that shift has created a new climate in the school community.
Yeah, so really beginning to think about what families value in a school setting, and I think the word that kind of encompasses all the different perspectives is safety. And I think there's safety in hallways, there's safety in the procedures of the school, there's safety in the comfort of asking a question in class and not worrying about what's going to happen. And so, really thinking about it from this idea of ensuring that young women or young girls are going to feel safe in our schools, and ensuring that families understand that. And under the guise of safety, that's also then ensuring that families that may not be Catholic or may not be familiar with Catholicism as a practice, begin to understand what it means to be a Catholic school, and what it means to be a young woman in that setting. And so that ensures that students understand that they may not be Catholic, but there is always going to be an element of respect that is given towards one's culture, one's practice, how one thinks, how one questions. And so it's really ensuring that we are speaking to as many communities as possible that right at the essence are particularly interested in ensuring the safety and well-being and healthiness of their girls. And so that may be pushing into Flushing and ensuring that families that value kind of an all-girls setting understand that an all-girls setting that happens to be Catholic works very, very well for their family. It may be going to Belrose and ensuring that families that may think about all girl settings as the really important developmental setting that is needed. It can happen in an all girls Catholic school as well.
And part of your strategy was to hire a new person who would be
Mm-hmm.
focused on enrollment, of course, but marketing the school. Talk a little about the impact that's had.
Yeah, so we hired an incredible professional who has worked for a decade, almost a decade and a half in the charter sector as well, in really operations and school management and leadership. So her background had been really focused on enrollment and recruitment, and then also ensuring sustaining enrollment. So ensuring minimal attrition, parent engagement, family engagement, et cetera. And so again, pulling somebody in from outside of kind of the traditional Catholic school realm with a different perspective. But what also was really, really important is kind of two other factors. One, she speaks three additional languages to English, so that's been incredibly impactful. That she can have full conversations with families that speak Spanish, or families that speak Creole, and so that has been something that I think when a family comes and is debating whether or not this is going to be a school in which they are included, and are welcomed. That's been incredibly impactful. She's also been able to speak from the perspective of being Christian, but at a Catholic school, and really beginning to talk through from a perspective of true identity and also sincerity, what it's meant to speak on behalf of an all-girls Catholic 6 through 12 school, but say, like, this is what it's meant to me joining this community, and this is what it's meant to me as somebody who right, on paper is outside, but is so invested in the Josephite charism of reconciliation, all inclusive love and unity, and like what that means. And that has been a really important level of authenticity that has lent itself to just engagement, but also um, uh, believability isn't the right word, but a level um, of a level of sincerity that I think has been really impactful for outreach.
So, as a result of her work and your work, from what I
Mm-hmm.
understand, attendance at open houses, it's stronger than ever. And also
Yeah.
applications are up. Talk a little about that.
Yeah, so year over year, so for my first academic year was school year 24-25, and now I'm in my second school year of 25-26. And so at the start of 24-25 versus the start of 25-26, we're up 18% in terms of students actually in seats. And so that's incredible. And that is from kind of dogged efforts of recruitment and really conversion, but while maintaining our academic standards. So not changing how we think about applications, how we review applications, but really ensuring that our net is wider, and that we are receiving a greater number of applications. And then as we think about the application pool for 26-27, which is hard to believe, we are also up over 20% in terms of the number of unique applications. So that has been really exciting, and it proves right. It's the demonstrable proof of we have wind at our back, and so there's true interest in one Mary Lewis, but also what we are espousing and what we are showing is doable in 2026.
Obviously, the middle school is a very big endeavor
Mm-hmm.
that might, take a lot of attention, but I'm just curious what else is going to happen over the remaining portion of this academic year and any
Yeah.
other plans that you have for new programs or services that the Academy offers, because I'm sure anyone who's listening and might be interested
Yeah.
in enrolling will want to know that.
Yeah. So I think another very large initiative that is really already in place for this academic year, so 25-26, has been the incredible expansion of our student services department. So we have a student services department chairperson. She's been with Mary Lewis for this is now her ninth year at Mary Lewis. Her first year leading the department, and she is a clinical psychologist, and so she has developed a really robust student services team that really thinks holistically about every single student, so 6 through 12. But if you look at the high school as kind of a microcosm, our director has kind of re-envisioned the process of how you develop the program for incoming ninth graders, ensure that they feel set up for success, and then that transition into 10th, 11th, and then the college process in 12th grade. And she has built out a staff that is aligned with that. So there are academic counselors, there are 3 mental health professionals, there are 2 college counselors, and so there is this really profound arc that ensures that students are being supported from the very start all the way through high school, and then as they begin to think about kind of choice after high school. And kind of the linchpin there is we also, for the first time ever, and we're one of very few Catholic schools that have this. We have a full-time SETS provider. So that is an individual that is on campus every day to support students with individualized education plans, extra time, mandated services, et cetera. With the acknowledgement that, right, these are students that are fully capable and extremely talented and ready for the rigors of the Mary Lewis Academy, but need additional supports that they are fully entitled to, and will be really, really successful given those opportunities. And so we have a full-time person who is on campus to support students. So that's one of the huge initiatives this year, and will continue to grow as we move into next year. The second is the student services. The Student Sponsor Program, SSP, which is run by the Archdiocese in partnership with the Diocese of Brooklyn, which covers Queens. And it is a program for highly, highly talented incoming ninth graders that are students of color, of a certain socioeconomic background, first generation. And they are partnered with a sponsor, but also a mentor, and they receive substantial financial aid to attend a very, very strong Catholic high school. And so my first year at Mary Louis, we had 5 in our freshwoman cohort. This year, in my second year, we have 17. And that is a real commitment to diversity, a real commitment to ensuring that the absolute most talented students possible are enrolling at Mary Louis, irregardless of a family's ability to afford the tuition. And so really thinking about how are we expanding our reach to bring the strongest and brightest young women to campus. And then as we think, oh, sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
And then our last one, which is really as we begin to think about 26, 27, is the expansion of transportation routes that we are providing for families. So when I first joined, we had 2 bus routes that we provided for families. This year we have 5, and I am looking in 26, 27, we're looking to offer 10. And so those would be to 5 brand new areas of Queens and Brooklyn to ensure easier access to our campus. So as I mentioned, we're right off the F train, but as students' commitments pile up, whether it's academics, athletics, theater, everything, it's harder and harder to take 3 trains to high school. And so if we can provide so to speak, door-to-door busing from a neighborhood to Jamaica Estates, Queens, all the better. And it will ensure families ease and ability to send their daughters to Mary Louis.
It sounds like such an exciting time and substantial growth in so many areas, Livia. Before I let you go, where can families or anyone who wants to learn more about the Mary Louis Academy go?
Absolutely. So families can go to our website, www.t as in the, M as in Mary, L as in Louis, A Academy, .org. And everything that they can imagine is available at our website, including application information, financial aid, etc. And then we also always encourage, or I always encourage families that are particularly interested and want kind of one-to-one answers. Feel free to email president@tmla.org. We pride ourselves on a level of communication with families, and it starts from right that first inquiry. So we encourage all families to reach out that way as well.
Livia Angiolillo, thank you so much for joining us here on the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you.
Under Miss A's leadership, the Academy has reversed multiple years of enrollment decline amid national Catholic school challenges, begun growing again, and launched a new middle school to build an earlier... Under her leadership, the Academy has reversed multiple years of Under Miss A's leadership, the Academy has reversed multiple years of enrollment decline and national Catholic school challenges. The school expanded recruitment into underserved neighborhoods and now serves about 70% young women of color from working and middle-class families across our borough and Brooklyn. Small classes, extracurriculars, and a commitment to every student's potential are truly transforming lives, empowering these young women to lead and to thrive. And speaking of thriving, that makes me think of the man who thrives during any type of weather. If you follow his social media, you know this. You know that a snowstorm will not stop him from getting out and exploring Queens. I'm talking about Rob McKay. He's with the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council. And each and every week, he brings us details on some of the more exciting events that are happening in Queens. Here's this week's report.
Jeffrey, got a great one, but I first have to take you on a little bit of a stroll down memory lane. There's a Woodside resident named Rafael Erin Ferri, and he's born in Spain, and he grew up in both New York and Spain. He's an architect, and in 2012, he basically biked and walked around the borough and took photographs of all the houses and their facades. And then he wrote a book, which is just unbelievable, called All the Queens Houses. It's got photos of all the different architecture, and he talks about it, and sometimes it's absolutely hilarious, like some of the stuff the terms that he comes up for Queens houses. Well, after that, he just finished and published a new book called All the Queen's Gardens, where he did the same stuff, going around taking pictures of gardens and talking about them from an architectural landscape point of view. And so now he's going to launch and talk about his book this Saturday, February 7th at 7 o'clock. It's at Q and Willow Books, which is a bookstore on Lefferts Boulevard in Kew Gardens. I got to tell you, it is the first book I was laughing out loud reading some of the stuff he did. Plus, it gave me a real appreciation for aluminum siding. So this is I think it's just gonna be just absolutely hilarious too. I've seen a whole bunch of photos of the gardens that he took, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say about them. Saturday, February 7th at 7 o'clock, Q and Willow Books. All right, thank you.
Queens keeps revealing new gems, and today's highlights are just the start of the excitement ahead. Dive deeper at itsinqueens.com for the latest events, and check out queensny.org for business resources and the QEDC newsletter. Make sure to sign up for it when you visit that website. And when you're out exploring, savoring a meal, catching a performance, or wandering a new neighborhood, but if you do, bundle up. Who knows when this weather is going to get much better. But when you do that, tag us on Instagram or X with the It's in Queens hashtag when you take some photos, because your photo could become our photo of the week. Education opens the doors to a brighter future. As Nelson Mandela wisely had said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So get out there and change the world, and I'll see you next week on the It's in Queens podcast.